Okay, so let's get started, and I went ahead and switched this to the monthly so it's a little bit easier to see, and I also flipped it to log scale because when you're dealing with prices that have gone from like $60 up to close to $500, you need to put it on a log scale or you just won't get the right look and feel. And the other point is that we're talking about Elliott wave theory here, and I think the word theory is important because many times in theory things should happen, but in practicum they don't. So, this analysis is subject to change at any time, and that's mostly based on fundamentals because that's what moves the market. First thing you'll notice is we're starting with the bear thesis, and this had a 5-wave impulsive to the upside, and I made sure that when looking at this that all the Elliott wave rules were met so that, for example, this wave 4 didn't cross below the end of this wave 1. And even though it doesn't look like it, like this wave 1 is equal to this wave 1, so on and so forth. Retraces so that they made sense. But being that the weekly charts and the daily charts, we closed above this 5th wave, it throws this crash wave out the window according to Elliott wave theory. So now we got to go ahead and redraw this 5-wave structure. So now you'll see here that we're no longer starting our crash wave 3 going down into here, and then 4 and 5, that's been removed. And now it's saying that we are still in this 5th wave. So this wave actually wasn't a 4-wave down, 5th wave up right here, but instead we started here, and this becomes our 5th wave, and I'm going to talk about how I ended up here 2 different ways at pretty much the same price looking at a 5-wave. Like I said earlier, if you think about the Elliott wave rules, there's a wave rule that says if wave 1 and wave 3 are equal in size, then likely this wave right here, its length will go ahead and be equal to the net of 1 through 3 times 1.618. If we're currently in a 5th wave right now, if we then go ahead and break this down into subwaves, if you look at this 1st wave and this 3rd wave here, which means we had a 2nd and a 4th, which was a pullback in the corrective, that means currently we are in the 5th wave as well here. And if we look at this 1st and this 3rd wave, what you notice about these 2 waves is they're actually the same size. So that means very similar to how we talked about the 1st and the 3rd wave here being the same size. Essentially, we take the net of 1 through 3, we multiply times 1.618, and voila, we come up to roughly the same spot on the 5th wave. So starting to get a few different data points tying together that says that this area makes a decent amount of sense. So now if we're going to go ahead and break down what this 5th wave is a little bit finer, it also has a 5-wave structure where it's going to have a 1st wave, a 2nd wave, and then I could only speculate what's going to happen here, some type of 5-wave structure here to the upside as well. And I broke that 1st subwave down just so that in my mind I could get it set that this was a 5-wave structure to the upside. It looks like we had a wave 2. So right now we're in a wave 3, which is typically the longest, but it could be the same size as wave 1. But right now though, anyways, we know that the 5-wave structure that we're in within the subwave of this last 5th wave, that this is in wave 3. And now if we think that we're likely to get rejected slamming into that trend line, we're likely to have some type of corrective wave. It doesn't have to be anything like any of these other waves. It could be its own little 5-wave, if you will, structure. But the 3rd wave is usually the longest, and then you're likely to have some other type of corrective wave before you put in some type of 5-wave structure to finish this off. So it would be something like this. So this to me also does make sense that we are actually in some type of 3rd impulsive wave where we're likely to have some type of corrective wave before we then move higher. So one thing we know about this larger 5th wave that we're in, we know that the duration of this wave should be similar into duration of what we saw in wave one. Now, it doesn't have to be, because it depends on how impulsive and they could burn themselves out quicker and so on and so forth. The first wave was a 6-year wave, and that also lines up, if you look at this, with this timing that we're getting coming out into May of 2026. Maybe hitting 615-ish, we'll say, by the end of December 2025. That means the bull trend finally ends, 620, we'll call it. Now, if we want to get some kind of idea of where we're going to end this year, this means that we'd end this year somewhere around 520, which kind of makes sense. I mean, that would be like a 10% increase this year on the SPY. I mean, that's kind of high, but that's what it's telling us. Now, I think the important thing to realize is, just because I'm giving where I think these targets are, that doesn't mean that we're going to go in a straight line up there. That's all I have for now until my next video, and we'll see you then.